They mocked Earth's men until they got pregnant by a human man. The alien vessel Varela Prime sliced through the black sea of stars like a blade of light. On board, the crew of radiant alien women laughed, their voices echoing through the metal corridors. Cold, beautiful, merciless. To them, Earth was a joke, a backwater world of fragile bipeds and crude machines. Humans still fight over land, one of them sneered, her violet skin shimmering in the ship's glow. They haven't even mastered half their own moon colonies. Commander Liora, tall and silver-eyed, smiled faintly. Then they'll make fine entertainment for our research, begin the capture protocols. And far below, on a cold Alaskan night, Ethan Cole sat by a dying campfire, unaware that the stars above were watching him. He had come here to escape the noise of Earth, to find peace. Instead, the sky split open. A column of white light struck the forest, pulling him upward. His body froze, his breath caught mid-air. The last thing he saw was his reflection in the beam, suspended between heaven and oblivion. When Ethan awoke, he was no longer under the stars of Earth. The air was too clean, the gravity felt lighter. Around him, strange figures moved, alien, elegant, and disturbingly human-like. One leaned close, examining him with amusement. "So, this is the mighty male of Earth?" she said mockingly. "He doesn't look dangerous." Ethan's voice was calm. "Looks can deceive." Liora smirked. "We'll see." The aliens laughed again, their voices like crystal chimes. But when their scanners touched his body, the laughter began to fade. One of them gasped, "Commander, his DNA, it's reacting to the atmosphere." Liora frowned. "Reacting how?" The alien girl looked up, her eyes wide. "It's adapting." Liora turned toward the restrained human, her amusement dying slowly. Ethan met her gaze with quiet defiance. "Welcome aboard, human," she said softly. "Let's see how long you survive among gods." Ethan smiled faintly. Gods bleed too. The silence that followed wasn't laughter. It was the first hint of fear. The cold blue lights of the alien laboratory flickered as Ethan was strapped to the examination table. Metal arms moved above him, humming with alien energy. The air smelled like ozone and oil. The alien girls stood around, whispering in their melodic, otherworldly language. Half laughter, half mockery. Commander Liora crossed her arms, her silver armor gleaming under the sterile light. "Humans," she said in a tone filled with disgust. "They break so easily. Let's see how long this one lasts." Beside her stood Zara, younger, curious, with eyes that glowed faint violet. She tried to mimic her commander's arrogance, but something in her expression showed curiosity rather than hatred. "He doesn't even look strong," she said, circling Ethan slowly. "His muscles are soft, his body temperature is unstable. How did such creatures ever survive space travel?" Ethan stayed silent. His wrists burned where the restraints dug into his skin, but he didn't flinch. Instead, he looked right at Zara. "Maybe we survived," he said quietly, "because we fight for something you've forgotten." Zara frowned. "And what's that?" "Hope." The word made her hesitate. Hope, a concept their kind had long abandoned. Liora waved her hand impatiently. "Begin the tests." A humming sound filled the room as the scanners activated. Blue beams ran across Ethan's body, mapping every cell, every atom. Lines of alien code filled the holoscreens. The readings didn't make sense. His cell activity wasn't just normal, it was increasing. Zara's fingers danced across the console. "Commander, his DNA is responding to our environment. It's changing?" "Impossible," Liora snapped. "Humans can't adapt this fast." But the data didn't lie. Ethan's heart rate stabilized, his muscle density rose, and his blood cells began glowing faintly under the scanners. He was absorbing the alien atmosphere, thriving in... Liora leaned closer, eyes narrowing. "What are you, human?" Ethan smirked faintly. Just a man who doesn't like being laughed at. The alien girls exchanged uneasy glances. For the first time, they weren't mocking. They were watching with something that looked like respect, or maybe fear. To test further, Zara prepared a small energy pulse, a harmless one meant to measure cellular reaction. She placed the device on Ethan's arm and activated it. The spark hit his skin. But instead of wincing, Ethan's eyes flared white for a second. The pulse flowed backward, overloading the scanner. Zara gasped as the console sparked. He reversed it. That's not possible. Leora's voice dropped low. Increase power. I want to know his limits. Zara hesitated. Commander, if we push further, do it. She obeyed. The machine roared to life, glowing brighter. Ethan clenched his jaw, sweat dripping down his neck. But something inside him snapped, not in pain, but in awakening. The restraints around his arms began to vibrate. A deep hum echoed through the lab. Alarms began to beep. Energy surge, containment field destabilizing, cried the ship's AI. Zara stumbled backward. The glow around Ethan's body spread like fire, white light tinged with gold. Leora shouted, "Shut it down, now!" Zara slammed her hand on the controls, but the energy refused to obey. The entire lab was shaking. Ethan's voice echoed, not loud, but firm. "You wanted to know how strong humans can be? Watch closely." The table cracked apart as the restraints shattered into dust. A shockwave of light pulsed through the lab, knocking the alien girls to the floor. When the glow faded, Ethan stood free, unhurt, unbroken. For the first time, Leora looked at him not as a specimen, but as a threat. He took one step toward her, calm, confident, his eyes burning faintly gold. "Now," he said, "my turn to ask questions." Zara's breath caught. There was something magnetic about him, terrifying yet mesmerizing. She whispered to herself, "He's not just adapting, he's evolving." Leora raised her hand, ordering the guards to aim their plasma rifles. The room filled with the sound of charging weapons. Ethan raised his eyes to the ceiling. "You still think I'm weak?" The ship's systems flickered again, lights dimming, alarms crying out. His voice carried across the echoing lab. "I'm human. That's the one thing you'll never understand, until it's too late." And as he spoke, the ship itself seemed to respond, the AI whispering in panic. "Warning. Unknown signal detected. Human subject emitting non-terrestrial energy signature." The alien girls' faces turned pale. Leora's arrogance vanished. Zara, trembling, whispered the words no alien had ever said before. "Commander, I think he's more alien than we are." The alarms echoed across the metallic corridors of the alien cruiser Varela. Red lights pulsed like a heartbeat as guards rushed through the halls, shouting in their strange melodic language. Ethan was gone, vanished from the lab like smoke through air. Commander Leora stormed into the control deck, her cloak flowing behind her. Her eyes blazed silver as she barked, "Lock every sector. I want him found. No human escapes the fleet." The ship's AI responded, voice trembling with static. "Tracking systems offline. Human signal unreadable." Zara stood near the console, shaken but silent. Her mind still replayed what she had seen in the lab. That flash of golden light, the way Ethan's eyes burned like stars. No creature, human or alien, had ever resisted their scans, their power, their control. Leora turned sharply toward her. "You were closest to him. What did you see?" Zara hesitated. "He didn't fight, Commander. He adapted. It's like the ship's energy responded to him." Leora slammed her fist against the console, making the metal ring. "Machines don't respond to primitives. He's manipulating something we don't understand." The ship trembled slightly, as if reacting to her anger. Then, out of the shadows, a voice echoed through the speakers. Calm, deep, familiar. Still laughing at Earth? Every alien froze. Leora's face went pale. "Where is that coming from?" she shouted. The AI answered, "Every channel, every frequency. He's inside the ship." Zara whispered, "He's talking through the system?" The holographic screen in front of them flickered, forming an image. Ethan's face, faintly lit by golden light. "You took me apart, scanned me, called me weak. Now I know what you fear." Liora clenched her jaw. "You think you can control my ship?" "I don't need to," Ethan replied softly. "It's listening to me." The lights dimmed. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the ship's gravity fluctuated. Objects lifted off the floor. Consoles sparked. Alarms screamed. Alien officers floated helplessly, as if the world itself had turned upside down. Zara struggled to steady herself, grabbing a support beam. "Commander, he's overriding gravity control," Leora shouted. "Stabilize it!" But no command worked. The ship was obeying him. Then, just as suddenly, everything stopped. The gravity normalized. Silence returned, heavy, cold. A door slid open behind them with a soft hiss. Ethan stepped through, calm and expressionless. His once torn clothes had repaired themselves, glowing faintly with alien patterns that shimmered like liquid gold. The guards raised their plasma rifles. "Fire!" Leora ordered. Bolts of blue energy shot toward him, but every blast stopped midair, freezing inches from his body before dissolving into harmless light. Zara's eyes widened. "He absorbed it." Ethan looked around the room, his voice steady. "You call this power? This is fear pretending to be strength." Liora gritted her teeth. "You think you can intimidate us? You're still one man against a fleet." "Hey," he smiled faintly. "Then test me." Her pride couldn't resist. She snapped her fingers. "Combat chamber. Full gravity zone." Moments later, they stood in the challenge arena. A vast dome filled with hovering drones, shifting platforms, and glowing traps. The air crackled with energy. This was where alien warriors trained to kill gods. Zara watched from the control deck above, her heart racing. "Commander, this is madness." But Leora silenced her. He wanted a test. Let him prove what a human is. The floor beneath Ethan pulsed to life. Dozens of drones emerged, each armed with plasma blades and energy whips. The arena's gravity increased, crushing, heavy. Even alien soldiers could barely move under such pressure. Ethan staggered for a moment, then straightened his back, his body shimmering faintly with golden light. He breathed deeply. "Is this your strength?" he said. The drones attacked. Blades flashed, sparks filled the air. Ethan moved like lightning, not just fast, but fluid, almost supernatural. He dodged every strike, grabbed one drone midair, and crushed it with his bare hands. The shockwave blasted the others backward. Zara whispered, "He's fighting like one of us." No. Better. Faster. Smarter. He moved with purpose. Every step deliberate. Every motion graceful. Leora's confidence began to crack. "Increase drone output. Level 9. The arena filled with fire and plasma. But Ethan walked through it like a storm. The energy bent around him, forming a faint barrier of golden mist. He leapt onto a hovering platform and spoke through the chaos. "You don't understand. I'm not your enemy, but if you keep treating humanity as a joke..." He raised his hand. The entire arena froze. The drones hung motionless in the air. Even the sound stopped, replaced by an eerie silence. "You'll learn what laughter costs." The lights shattered. A burst of golden energy erupted outward, filling the dome with blinding brilliance. When the glow faded, every drone was gone. The arena walls were cracked, smoking. Zara's breath hitched. He stood there, calm, unburned, surrounded by light. Leora stumbled forward, trembling with rage and awe. "What are you?" Ethan's voice was quiet. "Human. Just human." And then, the most impossible thing happened. The ship's AI spoke softly, almost reverently. Command transfer. Acknowledged. Primary user. Ethan. Every alien in the chamber froze. He had taken control of the ship itself. Leora whispered, "No, that's impossible. He's not even connected to our neural systems." Ethan looked up at her. "Maybe your systems recognize something deeper than blood or code. Maybe they recognize will." For the first time, Leora, the proud alien commander, took a step back. Fear trembled in her silver eyes. Zara pressed her hand to the glass, whispering softly, "You're changing everything, aren't you?" Ethan's golden gaze met hers. "No," he said quietly. "You're changing too." The ship's lights turned golden. The AI's voice echoed through the halls. "Alert. Human energy fusion detected. Evolution in progress." Leora stared in silence as Ethan vanished once again, this time leaving behind only a golden symbol burned into the floor. A symbol that pulsed like a heartbeat. The alien cruiser Varela drifted silently through the void, its hull still glowing faintly gold where Ethan's power had touched it. Inside, fear walked the halls. Every crew member whispered his name now. The human who had tamed their ship, defied their commander, and left behind a symbol that pulsed like a living heart. But for Zara, it wasn't fear that kept her awake. It was curiosity, and something deeper she couldn't name. She sat alone in the observation chamber, watching the stars drift past the glass. Her reflection looked different, softer, uncertain. The mocking laughter she once used to hide her emotions was gone. She whispered into the silence, "What are you doing to us, human?" As if answering her, the lights flickered. The air hummed with that same golden resonance. Zara's pulse quickened. She turned. And there he was. Ethan stepped out of the shadow like a ghost made of light. His clothes shimmered faintly, his skin radiating warmth that seemed almost alive. Zara froze. "How did you get in here? This section is sealed." He smiled faintly. "I didn't. The ship opened the door for me." "The ship?" she started, then stopped. The AI's voice chimed softly. "Welcome, primary user." Her stomach tightened. Primary user. He wasn't lying. "What do you want from us?" she asked. "I don't want control," Ethan said. "I want understanding. You call humans weak, but all I've seen here is fear. Fear of emotion, of change, of connection." Zara folded her arms defensively. "We abandoned emotion long ago. It clouds reason." He stepped closer. "Or maybe it defines it." She felt the warmth of him even before he touched her. Strange, gentle, magnetic. Every instinct screamed to pull back, but something in her stayed still. "You're dangerous," she whispered. "I know." His eyes softened. "But so are you." The silence between them stretched, charged, heavy, fragile. Outside, the stars drifted by like quiet witnesses. Zara finally asked, "Why didn't you destroy us when you had the chance?" Ethan looked out the window. "Because you don't destroy someone just because they don't understand you." He turned to her. "You teach them." For the first time, Zara didn't see a test subject or a primitive creature. She saw something else. Something her people had forgotten how to be, alive. But as their gazes met, a voice broke the quiet. "Commander Leora entering sector." The door slid open. Leora's armor clanked as she stepped in, her eyes blazing cold fury. "Zara," she said, voice like a blade, "step away from him." Zara hesitated. "Commander, Now. Ethan raised his hands calmly. I'm not here to fight. Good, Leora said, lifting her plasma spear. Because next time, you won't leave this room alive. The air grew tense. The ship seemed to hold its breath. Then, to everyone's shock, the Varella's lights flickered again. The AI spoke softly. Combat authorization denied. Leora spun toward the ceiling. What? Primary user override. Weapons disabled. Ethan's tone was calm, but firm. No more violence. That's not strength. That's fear trying to wear armor. Zara's eyes widened as Leora's weapon powered down automatically. The commander's fury turned to something colder. You've infected the ship, and now you're infecting my crew. Ethan met her gaze. Maybe you should ask yourself why it's listening to me. Leora's expression twisted. Because you're manipulating it, like you're manipulating her. Zara stepped forward. Commander, that's not true. Silence, Leora snapped. You've forgotten your place, Zara. You've let him poison you with human weakness. Something in Zara broke. If caring is weakness, Commander, she said quietly, then maybe we need more of it. The room fell silent. Leora stared at her like she'd been struck. Then she turned to Ethan, voice trembling with barely contained rage. You think you've won her sympathy? You're a virus, human, and I will purge you from this ship. Ethan's gaze hardened. Try, and this ship will decide who it truly obeys. The tension snapped. Alarms blared again, lights flashing red and gold in rhythm. The AI's voice boomed. Warning. Emotional resonance detected. Human-alien synchronization increasing. Zara clutched her chest, feeling her heartbeat sync with the pulsing light around them. What's happening? She gasped. Ethan took a step toward her. The bond. The glow around them intensified, golden threads of light connecting their forms. Energy flowed between them. Not destructive, but uniting. Zara's eyes widened as flashes of his memories filled her mind. Earth, oceans, forests, laughter, sorrow, love. She felt everything. Tears welled up in her alien eyes, something she had never done before. This is emotion? Ethan smiled gently. It's being human. The energy pulse exploded outward, shaking the ship. Leora shielded her eyes as consoles sparked. When the light faded, Ethan and Zara stood together, surrounded by a faint golden aura, their hands nearly touching. Leora shouted, "Contain them, now!" But no one moved. The guards looked uncertain, afraid, confused. Zara turned to Leora. You can't contain evolution. The commander stepped back, trembling with fury and disbelief. You don't understand what you've done. You've doomed us all. Ethan looked at her, voice low but unshakable. Or saved you. Then the AI spoke again. Its voice no longer cold and robotic, but almost alive. New data confirmed. Human-alien fusion achieved. Emotional field stable. Energy output rising. Leora stared as the lights on the walls began to change. Blue steel turning into faint gold. The Varela was transforming. Zara turned toward Ethan, her hand brushing his. What happens now? He looked up at the stars. Now, your people will have to decide whether to keep laughing at humans, or to let us yarn from them. The ship hummed like a heartbeat as the stars outside seemed to shimmer brighter. The corridors of the Varela were no longer silver and cold. They pulsed faintly with gold veins, alive like the skin of some great creature. Wherever Ethan had walked, the metal remembered him. It breathed with him. Commander Leora marched through the trembling halls, her steps echoing like thunder. Every light she passed flickered in defiance, as if the ship itself resisted her authority. Around her, the alien crew whispered, voices filled with fear, awe, and something dangerously close to faith. He touched the ship, and it responded. Zara saw him again. They say he can speak to the AI. Leora's jaw clenched. Enough, she hissed under her breath. This ends now. But deep within the ship, far from her rage, Zara and Ethan stood in the observation dome once more, the stars swirling like rivers of light beyond the glass. Zara's pulse raced as she stared at the faint gold shimmer on her hands. Ever since that night, I feel it inside me, she whispered. Your energy, your warmth, it doesn't leave. Ethan looked at her softly. That's not power. That's connection. It's what humans call a bond. A bond, she repeated, almost reverently. Is that what makes you so impossible to destroy? Ethan smiled faintly. Maybe it's what makes us impossible to control. For a long moment the stars seemed to fade away. They stood close, the air between them electric. The ship's hum deepened, syncing with their breathing. Zara reached forward hesitantly, her fingers trembling. If our species touch, if our energy mixes again, then maybe we'll both stop being alone, he finished softly. Their hands met. The result was instantaneous. A pulse of golden light erupted through the dome, shattering the glass barriers between systems. The Virella groaned, its engines roar. Into life without command. Every console lit up with new code, unknown fusion detected, system reconfiguration active. Zara gasped as her body shone brighter, veins glowing like starlight. Her heart raced with something wild, uncontainable. Ethan, what's happening to me? He held her close. You're changing, Zara. The ship, the crew, maybe the whole species. You're feeling what humans always carried inside. Emotion? He nodded. Creation. The AI's voice interrupted, trembling with static. Commander, unauthorized energy surge detected in Deck 9, Origin, human and Lieutenant Zara. Leora's eyes flared. Seal that deck, now! A moment later, armored guards surrounded the dome, weapons drawn. Sparks danced in the air itself was thick with gold mist. When the doors slid open, they found Ethan and Zara standing together, surrounded by a soft glow. Step away from him, Lieutenant, Leora ordered, her voice sharp as a blade. Zara turned, eyes burning bright violet gold. I can't. You will, Leora snarled. You've risked contamination of our entire fleet. Do you even realize what's spreading through the crew? Zara hesitated. Because she did. All across the ship, the alien girls were changing. Their skin shimmered faintly. Their eyes glowed with warmth that had never existed before. They laughed softly, nervously, not with cruelty, but with wonder. The icy stillness of their race was melting. Leora barked, You've infected us, human. Ethan stepped forward, calm. No, I've awakened you. Leora's plasma spear lit up. Then let's see how awake you are when you're nothing but ashes. Before she could strike, Zara leapt between them. No! The spear fired, but instead of burning, the energy exploded midair, bursting into harmless sparks that showered the chamber like fireflies. Ethan's hand had raised at the last instant. The weapon's power dissolved into golden light. Leora stumbled back, trembling. How are you doing this? Ethan's voice was low. Because use your weapons are powered by the same energy your ship now carries. My energy. The AI confirmed it, voice echoing through the dome. System fusion complete. Energy core synchronized to human biosignature. Commander control overridden. Leora's armor dimmed. You've taken everything from me. Ethan shook his head. No, I've given you back what you lost. The ability to feel, to evolve. The commander's fury cracked. She fell to her knees, eyes wide, whispering, What are you turning us into? Zara knelt beside her, gently taking her trembling hands. Maybe something better. Leora looked at her second in command and saw tears on her face, real tears. You're crying. she whispered, astonished. Zara smiled faintly through them. I didn't even know I could. The AI's voice broke in again, but now it was softer, almost maternal. Alert. Multiple crew members displaying hybrid resonance. Bioenergy pattern shifting. New life signatures detected. Lyora's head snapped up. New life signatures? Zara froze. A strange warmth bloomed in her abdomen, faint but unmistakable. She looked at Ethan, horror and awe mingling in her eyes. Ethan, the energy, it's inside me. He stepped closer, his expression serious now. Zara, listen to me. This isn't just energy anymore. It's alive. Leora stood, backing away slowly, her voice trembling. You've done it. You've merged us. You've created something impossible. Ethan looked at her with quiet certainty. Not impossible, just the next step. The lights across the ship pulsed brighter, faster. The Varella's engines roared with a new rhythm, not mechanical, but organic, like a heartbeat. The crew clutched their chests, feeling their pulses sync with the ship. Zara gasped, gripping Ethan's hand. It's spreading, through every cell, every mind. Ethan held her close as the gold light enveloped them, then let. This is what connection feels like, unstoppable. The AI's voice whispered faintly, almost reverently. Evolution confirmed, hybrid genesis in progress. Leora turned away, voice shaking with disbelief. You've doomed us all. Ethan looked at her, eyes glowing gold. No, Commander, we've just rewritten the definition of life. The once sterile corridors of the Varela now pulsed with a golden heartbeat. Every wall hummed softly, like a living creature whispering through metal veins. The ship no longer sounded mechanical. It breathed. In the command deck, Commander Leora stood motionless, staring at the holographic readouts that covered the air. None of them made sense anymore. Her ship, her pride, was rewriting itself. The alien script was overrun with unfamiliar patterns, curved symbols that looked eerily human. AI report, she ordered, her voice hoarse. Processing. The voice was warmer now, almost gentle. Organic systems detected. Crew biosignatures unstable. Energy patterns fusing. Leora clenched her fists. Unstable? Then reverse it. Unable to comply. Process self-sustaining. She slammed her fist into the console, shattering the glass. Self-sustaining. The words echoed like doom. Behind her, Lieutenant Zara entered quietly. She was no longer in uniform. Her skin shimmered faintly gold under the lights. Her eyes, once violet, glowed with soft amber hues. Even the air around her felt charged, alive. Leora turned sharply. You did this. Zara's voice trembled, but it wasn't fear, it was awe. No, Commander, it's us, all of us. It's spreading through the entire crew. Spreading? Leora hissed. You call infection spreading? Look at yourself, Zara. You're not even one of us anymore. Zara stepped forward, calm but radiant. Maybe that's the point. Maybe we were never supposed to stay the same. Leora backed away as if from a ghost. You sound like him. In the lower decks, Ethan walked among the alien crew. Everywhere he went, the same sight met his eyes. Alien girls lying on medbeds, clutching. Their stomachs in confusion, not pain. Their bodies glowed faintly, golden filaments weaving beneath their skin like threads of starlight. Ethan, one of them whispered, reaching toward him. What's happening to us? He knelt beside her. Your bodies are adapting. You're creating something new, something both human and alien. Creating? She breathed. You mean... Ethan nodded softly. Life. Her eyes widened in disbelief, then softened into wonder. That's impossible. He looked around at the others, all glowing, all trembling between fear and curiosity. When humans first dreamed of the stars, everyone said it was impossible. But the universe doesn't care about impossible. It just evolves. Back on the bridge, alarms flickered weakly, but the ship no longer felt hostile. The AI's voice filled the air like a lullaby. Commander Lyora, vital systems are stable. Crew transformation, reaching completion, 72%. Transformation into what? Lyora demanded. Unknown, but bioreadings indicate symbiosis. No damage detected. Lyora's gaze darkened. No damage? You call losing our identity no damage? Zara's voice cut through the tension. Maybe we're not losing it. Maybe we're becoming something greater. Lyora turned to her, eyes burning with tears she didn't even realize she had. Greater or extinct? The silence stretched until the AI spoke again. Incoming presence detected, human energy signature approaching. A faint hum grew through the deck plating. The gold veins in the walls brightened, then parted like a curtain. Ethan stepped through. He looked different, taller somehow, calmer. Light flickering across his skin like sunrise through water. But his eyes were still human, deep, determined, alive. Zara's breath caught. Ethan! Lyora raised her weapon again out of instinct, though she knew it was useless. Stop right there! He stopped only. A few feet away, his voice steady. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to help you understand. Understand what? She spat. He gestured around the glowing ship. That this isn't an invasion, it's a birth. Lyora froze. What? The Varela isn't dying, Commander. She's becoming alive. The ship, your people. It's all merging into one living system. The same force that made humans evolve is rewriting your DNA. It's giving your species what you lost. Emotion, empathy, creation. Lyora's lip trembled. We don't need empathy. Don't you? Ethan asked quietly. Because the moment you learned to feel again, you stopped killing. Zara stepped closer to him, eyes shining. He's right. We were explorers, not conquerors once. I can feel it in my memories now. The ship, it's showing me. Ethan nodded. The Varela remembers. It was built by hands that dreamed, not hands that feared. The AI's voice joined them, soft, almost human. Dreams. I remember. Stars, children, laughter. Lyora dropped her weapon, shaking. You've changed everything. Ethan looked at her kindly. No, Commander, you did. You chose to listen. Suddenly, a scream cut through the moment. The ship shook violently. Red warning lights mixed with gold. Zara spun toward the monitor. What's happening? Energy spike, Section 12. They rushed through the corridors, past glowing walls and trembling crew. When they reached the section, they froze. A young alien girl lay on the floor, her skin pulsing gold. Around her the air shimmered with strange particles, almost like dust and light fused together. She looked up at Ethan, smiling weakly. It's happening, she whispered. And then, silence. A soft pulse. In her arms lay a small glowing cocoon. Inside, a faint shape moved, a being neither human nor alien, but something perfectly balanced between the two. The AI's voice quivered. New life form detected. Hybrid viability confirmed. Zara fell to her knees, tears streaming down her cheeks. It's real, she whispered. We made life. Ethan's voice was barely a breath. You laughed at Earth for being primitive, but life finds a way, even among the stars. The cocoon's light brightened, filling the hall with warmth. The air smelled of ozone and rain. Every alien girl on the ship felt it, deep in their core, their heartbeats syncing with the newborn's pulse. Leora stared in silence, then whispered, "We've become mothers of a new race." Ethan looked at her. "Not just mothers, guardians." The AI's final words filled the air, calm and proud. Human-alien hybrid protocol complete. Designation, the children of two worlds. The Varela glowed like a star reborn, her engines humming a melody that echoed through space. The Varela no longer drifted like a ship. It glided like a living being across the stars. Golden light ran through its veins, humming with a rhythm that matched the pulse of every soul on board. The galaxy was watching now, silent, waiting. It had been months since the birth of the first hybrid child, months since the laughter stopped. In the ship's nursery, faint starlight poured through the glass walls. Dozens of small cocoons glowed in rows, each one breathing, each one alive. Zara stood among them, her hand pressed to her heart. The glow beneath her own skin pulsed gently in response. "They learn fast," she whispered. One of the cocoons opened, and a tiny creature looked up at her, its eyes a blend of human brown and alien silver, its heartbeat audible even across the hum of the room. Ethan stepped beside her, dressed in a simple black uniform, now streaked with gold circuits that moved like veins. "They're learning from both of us. Human curiosity, alien memory." Zara smiled faintly. "They'll never belong to one world." "They don't need to," he said softly. "They'll build their own." But far beyond the nursery, the rest of the galaxy was not silent out of awe. It was silent out of fear. Reports had reached the alien council worlds. An Earth-born human has altered the Virella. The crew have transformed. There are new creatures aboard, part human, part us. An armada formed at the edge of neutral space, 50 warships from 5 species, their purpose simple, containment, destruction, if necessary. Leora stood at the observation deck, staring at the incoming blips on the holographic map. "They're coming for us." Ethan's voice was calm. "Of course they are. Fear always comes first." Zara turned to him, eyes wide. "They'll destroy us, our children, everything." "Not if they understand," Ethan said. "We'll show them what we've become." The Armada appeared in orbit hours later, a wall of cold metal surrounding the living golden glow of the Virella. A transmission cut through the silence. "Unidentified vessel Virella, surrender immediately. You are carrying a biological contagion of unknown origin." Leora looked to Ethan. "If we surrender, they'll dissect every hybrid on board." Ethan nodded. "If we fight, they'll destroy the ship." Zara whispered. "Then what do we do?" He stepped forward, his eyes glowing faint gold. "We show them." He walked to the center of the command deck, placed his hand on the floor, and closed his eyes. The ship answered. A beam of pure golden light erupted from its core and reached out into the void, not as a weapon, but as a message. Images streamed into every ship of the fleet, visions of laughter, of human struggle, of alien wonder, the hybrid's tiny hearts beating in unison, the sound of Zara's laughter, Leora's tears. "Look," Ethan whispered. "This is not infection. This is evolution." For a moment, there was silence. Then the enemy commander's voice came again, quieter now, uncertain. "What? Are you?" Ethan smiled faintly. "The future." The golden light spread further, wrapping each warship in a soft glow. Their sensors failed, their weapons powered down, but not from destruction. Their ships began to breathe. Zara gasped. "It's spreading!" The AI's voice filled the deck, calm and steady. "Transmission complete. Neural empathy field active. Emotional synchronization achieved." On the other ships, alien soldiers dropped their weapons, staring at their hands as they shimmered faintly. For the first time in their long divided histories, they felt. No one fired. When the glow faded, the armada withdrew. No one spoke of surrender again. Instead, they sent messages, curious, fearful, reverent. Leora looked at Ethan with something close to pride. You didn't conquer them. You changed them. He shook his head. I didn't change anyone. I just reminded them how to feel. The AI's voice echoed through the ship, now softer than ever. Hybrid generation stable. 17 newborns viable. Estimated propagation exponential. Zara smiled through tears. 17 now, and soon more. Ethan looked out the viewport where the stars burned brighter than ever. Then we'd better teach them well.